The Grand Meridian Hotel stood tall in the heart of the city, its windows glowing like golden squares against the dark evening sky. Tonight was special. Tonight was the annual charity gala, the biggest event of the year. Rich people from all over the city were coming. Business owners, doctors, lawyers, and even a few movie stars would be there. Everyone wanted to attend this party. Maya Rodriguez stood in the staff room buttoning up her white server uniform. She looked at herself in the small mirror hanging on the wall. Her dark hair was pulled back tight in a bun. Her uniform was clean and pressed. She looked professional, just like Mr. Hartford wanted. Maya had been working at the Grand Meridian for 3 years now. 3 long years of serving food and drinks to people who never looked at her face. She was 28 years old, but sometimes she felt much older. Life had not turned out the way she planned. When she was younger, Maya had big dreams. She wanted to be a pianist, not just any pianist, but a great one. She studied at the Music Conservatory, the best music school in the state. Her teachers said she had talent. They said she could go far, but talent alone was not enough. Money became a problem. The conservatory was expensive, very expensive. Maya's parents tried to help, but they did not have much. Her father worked in construction. Her mother cleaned houses. They gave her everything they could, but it was not enough. Maya had to take out student loans. Lots of them. The debt piled up higher and higher like snow in winter. Then came the breaking point. Maya was in her 3rd year at the conservatory when her father got hurt at work. He fell from a ladder and broke his leg badly. He could not work for months. The family needed money fast. Maya had to make a choice. Keep studying music or help her family survive. She chose her family. She dropped out of school and got a job as a waitress. That was 3 years ago. The student loans were still there, demanding payment every month. Maya sent money home to her parents, too. There was never anything left over. The piano became something from her past, like a dream she once had but could no longer remember clearly. Maya, you ready? Carmen called from the doorway. Carmen was Maya's best friend at work. She was a few years older, with bright red hair and a smile that made everyone feel happy. Carmen had been working at the hotel for 7 years. She knew all the tricks, all the shortcuts, and how to deal with difficult guests. Almost, Maya said, checking her appearance one more time. Is Mr. Hartford in a mood tonight? Carmen laughed. When is he not in a mood? But tonight is worse. This gala is huge. If anything goes wrong, he might explode like a firework. Mr. Hartford was their manager. He was a thin man with gray hair and a face that always looked worried. He took his job very seriously, maybe too seriously. He wanted everything to be perfect all the time. During big events like tonight, he became even more strict. The 2 women walked down the long hallway toward the main ballroom. Maya could hear music already playing. The hotel had hired a famous pianist for tonight. His name was Alexander Petrov, and he had played in concert halls all over the world. Maya had looked him up online when she heard he was coming. His talent was incredible. Watching his videos made her heart hurt a little. That could have been her life. That should have been her life. Stop thinking about it, Carmen said, as if she could read Maya's mind. I can see that look on your face. Tonight is just another work night. We serve food, we smile, we go home. Maya nodded, but she was not really listening. They pushed through the double doors and entered the ballroom. Maya stopped walking for a moment, just taking it all in. The room was beautiful. More than beautiful. It was like something from a fairy tale. 3 huge crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, each one probably worth more money than Maya would make in her entire life. The lights sparkled and danced, throwing rainbow colors across the white walls. Round tables filled the room, each one covered with white cloth and decorated with tall flower arrangements. Red roses, white lilies, and green leaves created perfect centerpieces. Real silver plates and crystal glasses sat at each place setting. Everything shined and gleamed. At the far end of the room stood a stage. Alexander Petrov sat at a grand piano, his fingers moving across the keys with easy grace. The music floated through the air like perfume. It was Chopin, Maya recognized immediately. Nocturne in E-flat major. She had played this piece herself once, back when she was still a student. Her fingers twitched slightly at her sides, remembering the notes without her permission. In the corner of the room, Maya noticed another piano. This one was not being used. It was a Steinway, black and polished until it shined like glass. It was positioned near the tall windows, almost like decoration. Maya felt drawn to it. She wanted to walk over and touch the keys just once, but she did not move. That was not her world anymore. Servers. Attention, please. Mr. Hartford's sharp voice cut through the music. All the waiters and waitresses gathered around him. There were about 20 staff members working tonight. Mr. Hartford stood with his clipboard, his face already red with stress. The event had not even started yet, and he looked ready to have a heart attack. Listen carefully, he said in a tight voice. Tonight must be perfect. Do you understand? Perfect. These are the most important people in the city. They are here to donate money to the children's hospital. We need to make sure they are happy, so they open their wallets. If they are happy, they give more money. If they give more money, the hospital gets more money. Sick children get help. Do you see how important this is? Everyone nodded. Mr. Hartford continued talking, giving instructions about where to stand, how to hold the trays, when to offer drinks, and when to stay invisible. Maya had heard this speech many times before. She knew what to do. Stand straight. Smile politely. Don't talk unless spoken to. Refill drinks before glasses get empty. Clear plates quickly and quietly. Be invisible but always available. One more thing, Mr. Hartford said, looking around at all of them. Alexander Petrov is our star tonight. He will play during the reception and again during the auction. Do not bother him. Do not ask for autographs. Do not even look at him too long. He is a very important artist and must not be disturbed. Understood? Yes, Mr. Hartford, everyone said together. The doors opened. Guests began arriving. Maya picked up her tray of champagne glasses and moved into position near the entrance. She watched the people come in. They were dressed in the finest clothes money could buy. Women wore long dresses that sparkled with jewels. Men wore expensive suits and shiny shoes. The smell of perfume and cologne filled the air. Jewelry flashed under the chandelier lights. These people lived in a different world than Maya. Champagne, she offered to a couple walking past. The woman took a glass without looking at Maya's face. The man ignored her completely. They were already deep in conversation about business deals and vacation homes. This was normal. Maya was used to being invisible. In her uniform, holding a tray, she might as well have been a piece of furniture. People took drinks from her hands but never saw her. They spoke freely around her, as if she could not hear or understand. Sometimes she heard amazing things. Business secrets, gossip about other rich people, family drama. It was like being a ghost, watching life happen but not being part of it. Time passed. More guests arrived. The room filled with noise, laughter, conversation, the clinking of glasses. Alexander Petrov played through it all, his music creating a beautiful background. Maya moved through the crowd with her tray. She offered champagne. She collected empty glasses. She smiled her professional smile, the one that did not reach her eyes. An older woman in a silver dress stopped her. You there, girl, bring me a napkin. I spilled on my dress. Maya set down her tray and quickly got a napkin. She handed it to the woman carefully. The woman snatched it from her hand and turned away without saying thank you. Maya picked up her tray and kept moving. That was normal too. She passed by the unused Steinway piano in the corner. Her hand brushed against the smooth wood as she walked by. For just a second, she let her fingers rest on the edge. The piano was cool under her touch. She wondered if anyone would play it tonight, or if it was just there to look beautiful. Probably the second option. Rich people liked having beautiful things even if they never used them. Maya, stop daydreaming, Carmen hissed as she rushed past with her own tray. Table 7 needs water. Maya snapped back to attention and hurried to table 7. She filled water glasses, careful not to spill a single drop. The people at the table kept talking, not even pausing as she served them. She was invisible again. Mr. Hartford appeared at her elbow suddenly, making her jump slightly. Table 12 needs more appetizers. Quickly! He rushed off before she could respond, already yelling instructions at another server. Maya went to the kitchen and loaded her tray with small plates of fancy food. Little pieces of toast with fish eggs on top, tiny pastries filled with cheese and herbs, small spoons with soup so expensive it probably cost more than her hourly wage. She carried the tray carefully back into the ballroom. As she served table 12, she heard them talking about the auction that would happen later. They were excited about the items for sale. Vacation packages to private islands, dinner with celebrities, luxury cars, art pieces. All of it would be auctioned off with the money going to the children's hospital. It was for a good cause, Maya reminded herself. These rich people might ignore her, but their money would help sick kids. That was something. Alexander Petrov finished his piece and stood up from the piano. The room burst into polite applause. He bowed slightly and left the stage. It was intermission. Dinner would be served soon. Maya and the other servers rushed to bring out the first course. The next hour passed in a blur of activity. Maya carried plates of food. She refilled wine glasses. She cleared empty dishes. Her feet hurt in her work shoes. Her arms ached from carrying heavy trays. But she kept moving, kept smiling, kept being invisible. During a quiet moment, she found herself near the unused Steinway again. The ballroom was busy with people eating and talking. No one was watching her. She looked at the piano keys, black and white, perfectly clean. How long had it been since she really played? Not just pressing keys to remember, but really playing with her whole heart? 3 years. 3 very long years. Her fingers moved in the air, playing an invisible piano. Her muscle memory was still there, buried under years of carrying trays and serving food. The music was still inside her somewhere, locked away in a box she was too afraid to open. Beautiful, isn't it? A voice said behind her. Maya turned quickly, expecting to be in trouble. But it was just an old man, one of the guests. He had kind eyes and white hair. He was looking at the piano, not at her. "Yes, sir," Maya said quietly. "It's a beautiful instrument. Do you play?" he asked. Maya hesitated. Did she still count as someone who played? "I used to," she finally said. "A long time ago," the old man smiled. "Music never really leaves us, you know. It lives inside, waiting for the right moment to come back out." Before Maya could respond, Mr. Hartford's voice cut through the air. "Maya, I need you in the kitchen." "How?" "Excuse me, sir," Maya said quickly and hurried away. She looked back once and saw the old man still standing by the piano, his hand resting gently on its polished surface. In the kitchen, Mr. Hartford was organizing the dessert service. Chocolate cake with gold leaf on top. Each slice probably cost $50. Maya carefully loaded her tray and carried it back into the ballroom. She served dessert to table after table, always smiling, always professional. The evening continued. Maya's feet hurt more. Her back ached. But the event was going well. The guests seemed happy. Mr. Hartford looked slightly less stressed, which was as close to happy as he ever got. Only a few more hours to go, Maya thought. Then she could go home, take off these shoes, and try to forget about the beautiful piano in the corner and the life she used to dream about. She had no idea that everything was about to change. The dessert service had just finished. Maya carried her empty tray back to the kitchen, weaving through tables of happy guests. People were laughing, talking loudly, enjoying their expensive meals. Everything seemed perfect. The gala was going exactly as planned. Mr. Hartford should have been pleased, but then Maya heard a noise that did not belong. A crash, a shout. People gasping. She turned quickly toward the sound. Near the side door that led backstage, a crowd was forming. Something was wrong. Maya set down her tray and moved closer, trying to see what happened. Other servers were doing the same thing. Everyone was curious. Through the crowd, Maya could see someone lying on the floor. It was Alexander Petrov, the famous pianist. He was on his knees, bent over, his face very pale. A woman in a red dress was kneeling beside him, trying to help. "Call an ambulance," someone shouted. "Give him space," another person yelled. Mr. Hartford pushed through the crowd, his face now completely white with panic. This was his worst nightmare. Something was going wrong at his perfect event. He knelt down next to the pianist. "Mr. Petrov, what happened? Are you okay?" Alexander Petrov tried to speak but could only moan. He clutched his stomach. His face was covered with sweat. He looked very sick, like he might vomit at any moment. A man in a dark suit stepped forward. "I'm a doctor," he said calmly. He checked the pianist quickly, asking questions. "What did you eat tonight?" "The shrimp," someone said. "I saw him eating shrimp from the buffet during his break." The doctor nodded. "Looks like food poisoning, bad case. He needs to go to the hospital right away." Food poisoning. The word spread through the crowd like fire. Maya saw Mr. Hartford's face turn from white to red. Food poisoning at his event. This was a disaster. The hotel could be blamed. People might sue. The reputation of the Grand Meridian could be ruined. But there was a bigger problem. The auction was supposed to start in 30 minutes. Alexander Petrov was supposed to play the piano during the whole auction. The music was important, It made everything feel special and elegant. Rich people liked elegant things. Without the music, would they still want to bid on the expensive items? Would they still donate their money? The ambulance arrived quickly. Paramedics rushed in with a stretcher. They checked the pianist and carefully loaded him onto the stretcher. Alexander Petrov looked terrible. He was pale green now, still holding his stomach. As they carried him away, he weakly said, "I'm sorry. So sorry." The crowd slowly broke apart. Guests returned to their tables, whispering to each other about what happened. Maya heard bits of conversation as she walked past. Poor man looked awful. Food poisoning is terrible. I hope the shrimp we ate was okay. What will they do about the auction music? Mr. Hartford stood frozen in the middle of the ballroom. His clipboard hung limply from his hand. He looked like someone had hit him with a brick. Maya felt sorry for him, even though he was always so strict and difficult. This was not his fault. Bad things happen sometimes, but she knew he would blame himself anyway. The event coordinator rushed over to Mr. Hartford. Her name was Patricia Vance. She was a tall woman with short blonde hair and very expensive jewelry. She organized all the big charity events in the city. She did not look happy. "We have a serious problem," Patricia said in a tight voice. "The auction starts in 30 minutes. We need a pianist. The music is essential for the atmosphere. Without it, people won't be in the giving mood. We could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations." Mr. Hartford nodded, looking like he might be sick too. I know. I'll call someone." "There must be someone available." Patricia pulled out her phone. "I'll make calls too. We need someone good. This is a high-class event. We can't have some amateur." Maya watched as Mr. Hartford pulled out his phone and started making calls. His fingers shook as he dialed numbers. She heard him talking quickly, desperately. "Hello, this is James Hartford from the Grand Meridian Hotel. We have an emergency. We need a pianist tonight. Right now. Can you help?" Call after call. The answer was always no. It was Saturday night. Every good pianist in the city was already playing somewhere else. Concert halls, other parties, weddings. No one was available on such short notice. Patricia was having the same problem. Maya watched her face get more and more angry with each call. "This is impossible," Patricia finally said, hanging up her phone hard. "There's no one. We might have to cancel the auction." "Cancel?" Mr. Hartford looked like he might faint. "We can't cancel. The Children's Hospital needs this money." "Then what do you suggest?" Patricia snapped. "We can't have silence. The whole atmosphere will be ruined. People will leave. They'll go home. They won't bid on anything." Maya stood a few steps away, holding her tray of empty glasses. She felt her heart beating fast. She knew she could play. She could play that piano. She could play during the auction. But saying something felt impossible. Who was she? Just a waitress. No one important. No one would listen to her. But the Children's Hospital needed the money. Sick kids needed help. Could she really stay quiet when she had the power to help? Her hands were shaking. The glasses on her tray rattled slightly. Carmen appeared at her elbow as if from nowhere. Carmen knew Maya better than anyone at the hotel. She knew about Maya's past. She knew about the conservatory and the dreams that died. "You should tell them," Carmen whispered urgently. "Maya, you have to tell them you can play." "I can't," Maya whispered back. "Look at them. They want a professional, someone famous, not a waitress who dropped out of school 3 years ago." "But you can play," Carmen insisted. "I've heard you. Remember the staff party last Christmas? You played that old piano in the break room. Everyone loved it. That was different. That was just for fun. This is..." Maya looked at the elegant crowd, the expensive decorations, the perfect ballroom. "This is too big, so what?" Carmen said firmly. "Big or small, a piano is a piano. Music is music, and those sick kids need the money more than you need to be afraid." Maya felt something shift inside her chest. Carmen was right. This was not about her. It was not about her fear or her shame about dropping out of school. It was about sick children who needed help. Could she really be so selfish that she would stay silent? But saying something was so hard. Her mouth felt dry. Her legs felt weak. She watched Mr. Hartford and Patricia standing there, both looking desperate and angry. They would probably laugh at her. Or worse, they would look at her with pity. Poor waitress thinks she can play piano for rich people. Carmen suddenly grabbed her arm. "Fine, if you won't tell them, I will." "Carmen, no," Maya hissed, but it was too late. Carmen marched straight up to Mr. Hartford and Patricia. Maya wanted to run away and hide. She wanted to disappear, but her feet would not move. She stood there, frozen, watching her friend about to embarrass her in front of everyone. "Excuse me, Mr. Hartford," Carmen said loudly and clearly. "I know someone who can play piano." Mr. Hartford looked at Carmen like she had just spoken in a foreign language. "What, who?" Carmen pointed straight at Maya. "Maya can play. She went to the music conservatory. She's really good." Every eye turned to look at Maya. She felt her face turn hot and red. She wanted the floor to open up and swallow her. This was a nightmare. Mr. Hartford stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. Patricia looked at her with doubt and suspicion. "You?" Mr. Hartford said, his voice full of surprise. "You play piano?" Maya's throat felt tight. She could barely speak. I used to. I studied at the conservatory. But I dropped out 3 years ago. I haven't played much since then." Patricia crossed her arms. "The conservatory? What year did you leave?" "Third year," Maya said quietly, wishing she could become invisible right now. Really invisible, not just waitress invisible. "Why did you leave?" Patricia asked. Her voice was not mean, just curious. Maya did not want to talk about this. "Not here, not now." But everyone was waiting for an answer. "Family reasons," she said simply. "I had to work. There were bills to pay." Patricia and Mr. Hartford looked at each other. Maya could see them having a silent conversation with their eyes. Should they trust her? Could a waitress really save their event? Did they have any other choice? "Can you really play well enough for this event?" Mr. Hartford asked carefully. "This is not a casual party. These are very important people. They expect quality." Maya wanted to say no. She wanted to run away. But she thought about the sick children. She thought about the money that would help them. She thought about all the years she had been invisible, serving people food, hiding her dreams in a box. Maybe it was time to open that box even if it scared her to death. "Yes," she heard herself say, "I can play well enough." Patricia studied her face for a long moment. "What kind of music did you study?" "Classical mostly," Maya said. "But I also studied jazz contemporary arrangements. I can improvise. I can read sheet music quickly. I can play whatever you need." The doubt on Patricia's face softened just a little. "Mr. Hartford, do you trust her?" Mr. Hartford looked at Maya, really looked at her. In 3 years of working together, he had never really seen her before. She was just one of many servers coming to work on time, doing her job, going home. But now he was looking at her like a real person, someone with skills, someone with a past, someone who might save his event. "Maya has always been reliable," he said slowly. "She works hard. She doesn't make mistakes. If she says she can do this, maybe we should believe her." Maya's heart beat even faster. They were actually considering it. "But she's wearing a server uniform," Patricia said, looking at Maya's plain white shirt and black pants. "She can't play in that. It would look odd." "We can solve that," Mr. Hartford said, getting excited now. "One of the other servers is about her size. She can borrow a dress." Patricia looked at her watch. "We have 25 minutes before the auction starts. That's barely enough time to get her ready and let her practice a few songs." "Better than nothing," Mr. Hartford said. "Better than canceling the auction." Patricia took a deep breath. "Fine, let's try it. But Maya," she looked directly at her now, her eyes serious. "If you cannot do this, tell us now. Don't waste our time. Don't waste the hospital's opportunity. Can you really play well enough to entertain 400 rich people for an hour?" This was it, the moment of truth. Maya could say no. She could back out. No one would blame her. She could go back to being invisible, carrying her tray, living her small, safe life. Or she could say yes. She could take a chance. She could face her fears and her old dreams. She could sit at that beautiful piano and remember who she used to be, who she might still be. "Yes," Maya said, her voice stronger now. "I can do it." Patricia nodded once, sharp and quick. "Then go get ready, quickly. We don't have time to waste." Carmen grabbed Maya's hand and squeezed it tight. "You can do this," she whispered. "I believe in you." Mr. Hartford was already in motion. "Sarah," he called to another waitress. "I need to borrow your extra dress, now." Everything started happening very fast. Maya felt like she was in a dream or maybe a nightmare. She let Carmen pull her toward the staff room. Other servers stared at her as she passed. They had heard what happened. News traveled fast among the staff. Maya's going to play the piano, someone whispered. Is she really good enough? Another person asked. I hope she knows what she's doing, a third voice said. Maya hoped she knew what she was doing too. Her hands were still shaking. Her heart was still racing. What had she just agreed to? She was about to play piano for 400 rich people, important people. People who knew good music from bad music. People who paid to hear Alexander Petrov, one of the best pianists in the world. What if she failed? What if her fingers did not remember how to play? What if 3 years of not practicing had made her terrible? What if she embarrassed herself in front of everyone? But there was no time to think about that now. She had said yes. She had made a promise. Now she had to keep it no matter how scared she was. Carmen pulled her into the staff room. Sarah was already there with her dress. It was dark blue, simple but elegant. Good luck, Sarah said, handing it over. I'll be cheering for you. Maya changed quickly, her fingers fumbling with the zipper. The dress fit okay, not perfect, but good enough. Carmen helped her fix her hair, pulling it out of the tight bun and letting it fall in soft waves around her face. You look beautiful, Carmen said, stepping back to look at her. Like a real pianist. Maya looked in the mirror. She barely recognized herself. She looked like the person she used to be back when she was a music student with dreams and hope. Before the loans. Before her father got hurt. Before she became invisible. I'm scared, Maya admitted quietly. Good, Carmen said. That means you care. Now go out there and show them what you can do. Maya walked back toward the ballroom. Her legs felt shaky. Her stomach felt like it was full of butterflies. She could hear the crowd noise growing louder. The auction was about to start, and she was about to play piano for the first time in 3 years in front of everyone who mattered in this city. This was either going to be the best decision she ever made or the worst mistake of her entire life. Maya stood at the entrance to the ballroom in her borrowed blue dress. She could see the piano from here, the beautiful black Steinway that had been sitting unused in the corner all evening. Now it would be hers to play. The thought made her feel excited and terrified at the same time. Mr. Hartford rushed over to her, checking his watch every few seconds. 10 minutes until the auction starts. You need to get to the piano now. Patricia is going to announce you. Announce me? Maya's voice came out higher than normal. What will she say? That there was an unexpected change. That Alexander Petrov became ill. That we have arranged for alternate entertainment. Mr. Hartford paused, looking at her carefully. Maya, are you absolutely sure about this? No, she thought. She was not sure at all. She was full of doubt and fear. But she nodded anyway. I'm sure. Good. Mr. Hartford almost smiled. Almost. Go take your place at the piano. Wait for Patricia's announcement. Then start playing. Keep the music elegant and flowing. Not too loud, not too soft. The guests should be able to talk and hear the auction, but the music should add to the atmosphere. Understand? Maya nodded again. Her mouth was too dry to speak. She walked across the ballroom floor. Every step felt strange. She was walking toward the piano as a performer, not as a server. People saw her now. Really saw her. Some looked curious. Some looked confused. She was wearing a dress, but she was not a guest. Who was this woman walking toward the piano? Carmen caught her eye from across the room. She was standing with the other servers, holding her tray. She gave Maya a big smile and a thumbs up. That helped a little. At least one person believed in her. Maya reached the piano and sat down carefully on the bench. The Steinway looked even more beautiful up close. The keys were perfect, clean and smooth. She touched them gently with one finger. The feel of the cool ivory under her fingertips sent a shock through her body. It had been so long. Too long, she looked at her hands. They were server hands now, used to carrying trays and washing dishes. Would they remember how to play? Would they remember the complicated patterns, the quick runs, the delicate touch needed for beautiful music? There was only one way to find out. Maya placed her hands on the keys in proper position. Home position, her first piano teacher called it. Left thumb on middle C, fingers curved gently. Wrists relaxed. It all came back like muscle memory, like riding a bicycle. Her body remembered even if her mind was full of doubt. She played a few quiet notes, just testing. The piano was perfectly tuned. The sound was rich and clear, better than any piano she had ever played before. This was an instrument worth more than $100,000. Playing it felt like a privilege and a responsibility. Testing, testing. Patricia's voice came through the microphone on stage, Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? This was it. Maya's heart pounded so hard she thought everyone in the room must be able to hear it. Her hands started sweating. She wiped them quickly on the dress, hoping no one noticed. "I have an announcement to make," Patricia said into the microphone. Her voice was professional and calm, like nothing was wrong. "Unfortunately, Alexander Petrov has taken ill and had to leave this evening. However, we are fortunate to have found alternate entertainment for our auction. Please welcome Maya Rodriguez, who will be providing our musical accompaniment tonight." There was polite applause. Some people looked interested. Some looked disappointed. Some looked skeptical. Maya could see their faces from where she sat. She could see them judging her, wondering if she would be good enough. Patricia gestured toward her. "Whenever you're ready, Maya." The room grew quiet. Everyone was waiting, watching, expecting. Maya took a deep breath. Then another. Her teacher at the conservatory used to say that breathing was the most important part of performance. If you breathe right, everything else follows. If you panic and hold your breath, your hands will tense up and make mistakes. She breathed in through her nose, out through her mouth. In and out. Her heartbeat slowed down just a little. Her hands stopped shaking quite so much. She decided to start with something safe, something she knew so well that her hands could play it even if her brain stopped working. Clair de Lune by Debussy. It was one of the first advanced pieces she ever learned. She had played it hundreds of times. She knew every note, every dynamic, every subtle nuance. Maya placed her hands on the keys and began to play. The first notes came out soft and gentle, like moonlight on water. That was what Clair de Lune meant in French. Light of the moon. The music floated into the air, filling the ballroom with its dreamy, peaceful sound. Maya's fingers remembered. They moved across the keys with confidence she did not know she still had. The muscle memory was still there, buried under 3 years of not playing, waiting to be awakened. Each note led naturally to the next. Each phrase flowed into the following one. She kept her eyes on the keys, not daring to look at the audience yet. She focused only on the music, on making each note as beautiful as possible, on shaping the phrases the way her teacher taught her, on bringing out the emotion in Debussy's masterpiece. The song moved through its various sections: the peaceful beginning, the slightly more dramatic middle part, the return to calm at the end. Maya played it all, letting the music wash over her, letting it remind her of who she used to be. When the final notes faded away, she risked a glance at the room. People were watching her, not with skepticism anymore, but with interest. Some were smiling slightly. They had not expected much from a substitute pianist, but she had surprised them. Patricia stepped to the microphone. "Thank you, Maya, that was lovely. Now let's begin our auction. Our first item tonight is a week-long stay at a private villa in the Caribbean." The auction began. Patricia described each item with enthusiasm. She encouraged people to bid high. She reminded them about the children's hospital and all the good their money would do. And Maya played through it all. She transitioned from Clair de Lune into another piece, then another. She played Chopin nocturnes, Liszt variations, some Beethoven, some Bach. All the classical pieces she had learned at the conservatory came flowing back. Her fingers remembered every one of them, but as she played, something began to happen. The safe classical pieces started to feel too stiff, too formal, too much like she was just repeating things from memory like a robot. The music was technically correct, but it lacked something. It lacked heart. Maya started to improvise a little. She took a Chopin piece and added some jazz chords. She mixed a Liszt melody with a more modern rhythm. She let her feelings guide her fingers instead of just following the sheet music in her memory. The music became more interesting, more emotional, more real. She played about frustration, about working hard at a job that did not use her talents, about carrying trays and being invisible while music lived inside her, locked away. She played about student loans and impossible choices, about dreams that had to die so her family could survive. But she also played about hope, about the kindness of friends like Carmen, about the beauty of a perfect piano on a magical night, about the chance to play again even if just this once, about the scared, excited feeling of stepping back into her old life, even if only for an hour. The music poured out of her. All the feelings she had kept locked away for 3 years, all the sadness and anger and loss and hope, it all came through her fingers and into the keys and out into the ballroom as sound. Maya closed her eyes now. She was not in the ballroom anymore. She was somewhere else. somewhere music lived, a place beyond words, beyond thoughts, where only feeling existed. Her fingers moved on their own, knowing what notes to play, what emotions to express. She did not notice that the room was getting quieter. She did not see that people had stopped talking. She did not realize that conversations were trailing off mid-sentence. She did not know that guests were setting down their wine glasses and auction paddles to listen. The auction continued, but more slowly now. Patricia announced each item, but she spoke more softly than before. People bid, but mechanically, almost like they were in a trance. Their attention was divided between the auction and the music. More and more, the music was winning. Maya transitioned into a piece she had written herself, back in her second year at the conservatory. She had never performed it for anyone except her teacher. It was too personal, too raw. But tonight she played it. She played her own music for the first time in 3 years. It was a strange piece. Not purely classical, not purely jazz. Somewhere in between. It had moments of beauty and moments of discord. It had gentle parts and angry parts. It was the sound of a dream breaking and a person trying to survive. The room grew even quieter now. Even Patricia paused in her auction announcements. People turned in their chairs to watch the pianist. Who was this woman? Where did she come from? Why had they never heard of her before? Maya's eyes were still closed. Tears began sliding down her cheeks, but she did not notice. She was lost in the music, lost in the past, lost in all the feelings she had been pushing down for 3 years, pretending they did not exist. She played about her father falling from that ladder, about the hospital bills, about the terrible day she walked into the registrar's office at the conservatory and officially dropped out, about her teacher's disappointed face, about packing up her music books and storing them in boxes in her parents' garage. She played about her first day as a waitress, how small she felt, how ashamed, how she had to smile and serve food to people who had everything while she had lost everything, about going home at night with sore feet and an empty heart. But then the music changed. It became softer, more hopeful. She played about survival, about getting through each day, about small joys, a good cup of coffee, Carmen's friendship, a beautiful sunset, her parents' gratitude when she sent money home, the pride in her father's voice when he finally returned to work. She played about resilience, about being stronger than she thought, about carrying on even when dreams die, about finding purpose in helping others even if it was just bringing them food and drinks. And then she played about tonight, about this unexpected chance, about walking to this piano in fear and hope, about touching these keys again after so long, about remembering who she was before life got hard, about the possibility that maybe, just maybe, dreams do not die forever. Maybe they just sleep, waiting for the right moment to wake up. The music built to a climax. Her fingers moved faster, pressing harder. The sound filled the ballroom, powerful and emotional. Then it began to soften, to slow down, to find peace. The final notes were quiet and gentle, like a door closing softly, or maybe like a door opening, just a crack, letting in a small beam of light. Maya played the last note and let it ring out until it faded completely into silence. She kept her eyes closed for a moment longer. She was not ready to face reality yet. In this moment, with her hand still on the keys, she was a pianist. A real pianist. Not a waitress pretending. Not a dropout with broken dreams. A pianist. But she had to open her eyes eventually. She had to face whatever came next. Slowly, she lifted her hands from the keys. Slowly, she opened her eyes. The ballroom was completely silent. Maya's heart sank. She had done something wrong. She had played too emotionally. Too personally. She had forgotten this was supposed to be background music for an auction. She had made it about herself instead of about the event. Mr. Hartford was probably furious. Patricia was probably regretting letting her play. The guests were probably offended by her presumption. She started to stand up, ready to apologize and run away in shame. Then someone started clapping. It was the old man, the one who had spoken to her earlier about the piano. He stood up from his table, clapping his hands together loudly. His face was wet with tears, but he was smiling. Another person joined him. Then another. Then another. Within seconds, the entire ballroom was standing. 400 people rose to their feet applauding. Not polite, obligatory applause. Real applause. Enthusiastic, emotional, grateful. Maya stood frozen by the piano, unable to believe what she was seeing. They were giving her a standing ovation. Her, a waitress who dropped out of school, a nobody playing in a borrowed dress. They were standing for her. The applause went on and on. It seemed to last forever. People were not just clapping. Some were wiping their eyes. Some were calling out, "Bravo." Patricia stood at her microphone, clapping too, a surprised smile on her face. Mr. Hartford was standing near the kitchen doors. He was not clapping. He was too busy wiping his eyes with a handkerchief. When he saw Maya looking at him, he nodded once. A nod that said, "You did it. You really did it." Carmen was crying openly, making no effort to hide it. She blew Maya a kiss from across the room. The other servers were all smiling, clapping, looking proud. But the most amazing thing was the guests. These rich people who had ignored her all night, who had taken drinks from her hands without seeing her face, who had treated her like furniture. Now they were standing for her. Now they saw her, really saw her. A woman in an elegant black dress was pushing through the crowd toward the piano. She was tall, with silver hair pulled back in a bun. She wore a necklace made of large diamonds. She looked important. Very important. She reached Maya and held out her hand. "My name is Catherine Wells," she said. Her voice was cultured and refined. "I'm the director of the City Symphony Orchestra." Maya shook her hand, still in shock. "Hello," was all she could manage to say. Catherine smiled. "That was extraordinary. I've been in the music world for 40 years. I've heard thousands of pianists. What you just played was special. Very special." She reached into her small purse and pulled out a business card. "I want you to audition for our orchestra." Maya stared at the card like it was a winning lottery ticket. "Audition? For the symphony?" "Yes, Monday morning. 10 o'clock. Catherine pressed the card into Maya's hand. "Don't make me hunt you down. Be there. We need pianists like you." Before Maya could respond, other people crowded around. A man in a gray suit introduced himself as a music agent. A woman with red glasses said she organized concerts. A younger man asked if she gave private lessons. Everyone wanted to talk to her. Everyone wanted her business card, her phone number, her email. Maya felt dizzy. This could not be real. Things like this did not happen to people like her. She was just a waitress. Just someone who dropped out of school. How could any of this be happening? Patricia's voice cut through the noise. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your generous response. Maya will continue playing for us as we finish our auction, but please let her return to the piano." The crowd slowly dispersed, though many people kept looking back at Maya, smiling, giving her thumbs up. She sat back down at the piano, her hands shaking again. But this time she was not shaking from fear. She was shaking from shock and joy and disbelief. She had just played piano for 400 people, and they had loved it, really loved it. Her life had just changed in the space of one song. Patricia continued the auction. Maya continued playing, but everything was different now. The room felt different. She felt different. Even the piano seemed to sound better, richer, more responsive to her touch. And in her hand she clutched Catherine Wells's business card like it was the most precious thing in the world. The auction continued, but the energy in the room had completely changed. Before Maya's performance, people had been interested and polite. Now they were excited, enthusiastic, almost euphoric. The music had touched something deep inside them, and now they wanted to give back. Patricia announced the next item. A private dinner with celebrity chef Marco Bertinelli at his flagship restaurant. Bidding starts at $5,000. Hands shot up immediately. 10,000. Someone called out, 15. Another voice countered, 20,000. A woman in a green dress waved her paddle eagerly. The bidding kept climbing. Maya played softly in the background, letting the auction take center stage now, but she could feel the difference. The music had opened people's hearts, and now their wallets were opening too. The dinner package sold for $35,000. The next item, a week in a mountain cabin, sold for $20,000 when it usually went for $10,000. A piece of art sold for twice its appraised value. Every single auction item was going for more money than expected. Patricia looked thrilled. Between items, she caught Maya's eye and mouthed the words, "Thank you." Maya nodded, still hardly believing this was real. An hour ago, she had been carrying trays of dessert. Now she was the reason this auction was breaking records. As she played, Maya noticed things she had never noticed before. When you were a server, you did not really look at people. You looked through them, around them, past them. But now, Sitting at the piano as a performer, she really saw them for the first time. She saw a woman in a silver dress crying quietly while her husband held her hand. She saw an older man with a kind face mouthing the words to one of the classical pieces she played. She saw a young couple swaying slightly to the music, lost in their own world. These people were not just rich. They were human. They had feelings. They responded to beauty. They understood music. She had judged them as cold and uncaring, but maybe she had been wrong. Maybe everyone just needed to be reminded sometimes that they had hearts. The auction moved into its final phase. The biggest items were always saved for last. Patricia announced a luxury car, then a boat, then a vacation home in Italy. The bidding was fierce. People competed with passion, wanting to win, wanting to contribute to the cause. And now our final item of the evening, Patricia said, her voice rising with excitement. A truly once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A private concert in your home, performed by the City Symphony Orchestra with the repertoire of your choice. Bidding starts at $50,000. This was always the grand finale, the big money item. Usually it went for around $80,000. That was the record. $60,000. A man near the front raised his paddle. $75,000. A woman across the room countered. $100,000. The old man who had first stood to applaud Maya called out his bid clearly. The room gasped. $100,000 was a huge jump. Patricia smiled. We have $100,000. Do I hear $125,000? Silence for a moment. Then a voice from the back. $150,000. More gasps. This was unprecedented. Patricia could barely contain her excitement. $150,000. Going once. $200,000. The woman in the green dress stood up as she made her bid, her face flushed with excitement. The room erupted in whispers and murmurs. $200,000 for a single auction item. This had never happened before. Not even close. Patricia looked around. $200,000. Do I hear any more bids? Silence. Everyone was stunned by the amount. Patricia raised her gavel. Going once, going twice, sold. For $200,000. The room exploded with applause. People were on their feet again, clapping and cheering. The woman in the green dress was crying happy tears. Her friends hugged her. The energy in the room was electric. Patricia let the applause die down before speaking again. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement. Tonight's auction has raised a record-breaking sum. Thanks to your incredible generosity, we have raised over $1.2 million for the Children's Hospital. More applause. More cheering. People were hugging each other, celebrating. Patricia continued. This is double what we raised last year. Double. I believe we owe a great deal of thanks to our unexpected pianist tonight, Maya Rodriguez, whose beautiful performance opened all of our hearts. Everyone turned to look at Maya. She felt her face turn red, but she smiled. Catherine Wells was clapping the loudest, a knowing smile on her face. She caught Maya's eye and tapped her wrist, reminding her about the audition on Monday. As the applause finally faded, Patricia wrapped up the evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your generosity. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Maya will continue to play for those who would like to stay and enjoy the music. Most people did stay. Usually after the auction ended, guests left quickly. They had done their charitable duty and were ready to go home. But tonight was different. People settled back into their seats, ordered more drinks, and sat listening to Maya play. She continued for another 30 minutes, moving through her repertoire with new confidence. She played pieces she loved. She played pieces that made her happy. She played without fear now, because she had already faced her worst fear and survived. More than survived, triumphed. Eventually the crowd began to thin. People came up to the piano as they left, thanking her, complimenting her, asking about her background. She answered as best she could, still feeling surreal about the whole evening. Carmen finally approached when most of the guests were gone. She was still in her server uniform, still holding her tray, but tears were streaming down her face. I'm so proud of you, Carmen said, her voice breaking. Maya, I'm so proud. You were incredible. Maya stood up and hugged her friend tightly. Thank you for making me tell them. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I always knew you were special, Carmen said. I just wish you had known it too. Mr. Hartford appeared next, looking more relaxed than Maya had ever seen him. The stress lines on his face had smoothed out. He was almost smiling. Almost, Maya, he said formally. That was quite impressive. You saved the evening. The hotel's reputation is intact and the charity raised more money than ever before. He paused, then added more softly, I'm sorry I never asked about your background before. I should have known my staff better. You've been working here for 3 years and I never really knew you. Maya was surprised. Mr. Hartford never apologized. Thank you, Mr. Hartford, I understand. We all have our jobs to do. Still, he continued, I should have seen you. Really seen you. Everyone deserves that. He cleared his throat, uncomfortable with so much emotion. I assume you'll be leaving us soon. The symphony, probably. Or a concert career. Whatever happens, you'll be too good for this place. I don't know what will happen, Maya said honestly. I have an audition on Monday. But even if nothing comes of it, tonight was worth it. Tonight reminded me of who I am. Mr. Hartford nodded. Well, whatever you decide, you'll always have a reference from me. The best reference I can give. He shook her hand formally, then left before the conversation could get any more emotional. Patricia Vance approached next, her phone already in her hand. Maya, I have about 50 messages from people asking about you. Music agents, concert organizers, even a recording studio. Can I give them your contact information? Maya's head spun. I don't know. This is all happening so fast. Patricia smiled kindly. I understand. It's overwhelming. Here's my advice. Take tonight to process everything. Tomorrow make some decisions about what you want. Do you want to pursue music professionally? Do you want to teach? Do you want to perform? Think about your goals. Then on Monday, after your audition with Catherine, we can talk about next steps. I'd be happy to help you navigate all of this. Thank you, Maya said gratefully. That's very kind. It's not kindness, Patricia said. It's good business. You have real talent. The music world needs talent. I want to help connect you with opportunities. She handed Maya her business card. Call me Monday afternoon. We'll talk. As Patricia left, more people came to say goodbye. The music agent pressed his card into her hand. The concert organizer did the same. A woman who ran a music school asked if she would consider teaching advanced students. A man who organized charity events asked if she would play at future galas. By the time the last guest left, Maya had a pocket full of business cards and a head full of possibilities. The ballroom was nearly empty now, just a few staff members cleaning up. Carmen had gone home, hugging Maya one more time before leaving. Maya sat back down at the piano. Alone now in the quiet room, she played one more song, just for herself, a simple melody her mother used to sing when Maya was little, a lullaby about dreams and stars and hope. Her fingers moved gently over the keys. The sound was soft and sweet, filling the empty ballroom with peace. Maya closed her eyes and let herself feel everything, the joy, the relief, the fear, the hope, the sadness for all the lost time, the excitement for what might come next. When she finished playing, she stood up slowly. She touched the piano one more time, running her hand along its smooth surface. Thank you, she whispered to it. Thank you for waiting for me. She walked across the ballroom floor, her footsteps echoing in the empty space. The chandeliers still sparkled overhead. The tables were being cleared by the night crew. Everything looked the same as it had at the beginning of the evening, but everything was different. Maya stopped at the doorway and looked back one more time. Just a few hours ago, she had entered this room as a waitress. Now she was leaving as a pianist. The same person, but somehow completely different. In the staff room, she changed back into her regular clothes. The borrowed blue dress went back on its hanger. Sarah could have it back tomorrow. Maya carefully folded her server uniform and left it on the bench. She did not know if she would ever wear it again. That thought was scary and exciting at the same time. She gathered her things and headed for the exit. The hotel lobby was quiet at this late hour. The night desk clerk nodded at her as she passed. Did he know what had happened tonight? Did he know that one of the servers had just changed her entire life? Outside, the night air was cool and fresh. Maya stood on the sidewalk for a moment, breathing it in. The city lights twinkled around her. Cars passed by on the street. Somewhere in the distance, music played from a club or restaurant. She pulled out her phone to call a taxi, then noticed she had dozens of messages. Her parents had called 3 times. Carmen had texted 6 times. Even some of her old friends from the conservatory had somehow heard and reached out. But Maya did not feel like talking to anyone yet. She needed time to think, to process, to understand what had just happened and what it might mean. She started walking instead of calling a taxi. It was late, but the streets were safe and well lit. The walk home would take about 40 minutes. That would give her time to think. As she walked, she thought about the last 3 years. All the struggles, all the sacrifices, all the times she had wanted to give up but kept going. Had it all been for a reason? Had everything led to tonight? She thought about her father, home now and mostly recovered from his accident. She thought about her mother, who still cleaned houses but no longer had to worry quite so much about money. She thought about the student loans still there but getting smaller each month. She thought about her dreams, the ones she had buried in a box and tried to forget. They were not dead after all. They had just been sleeping, waiting for the right moment to wake up. Maya reached into her pocket and pulled out Catherine Wells' business card. City Symphony Orchestra, director, Monday at 10 o'clock. This was real. This was really happening. She also pulled out the other business cards. So many opportunities, so many possibilities. A month ago, her biggest worry was whether she would get enough tips to cover her phone bill. Now she was thinking about auditions and concerts and recording studios. The weight of it all suddenly hit her. She stopped walking and leaned against a building, her breath coming fast. This was too much, too big, too scary. What if she failed the audition? What if she was not as good as Catherine Wells thought? What if tonight was just a fluke, a moment of magic that could never be repeated? What if she tried to chase her dreams again and they broke her heart a second time? Maya felt tears starting to fall. She let them come. Happy tears, sad tears, scared tears, all mixed together. She cried for the girl who had to give up her dreams. She cried for the 3 years of hard work and invisibility. She cried for her parents and their sacrifices. She cried for all the music she had not played. But she also cried tears of joy. Because tonight she had played. Really played. And people had listened. Really listened. For one perfect night, she had been exactly who she was meant to be. After a few minutes, Maya wiped her eyes and started walking again. She did not have all the answers. She did not know what would happen on Monday. She did not know if she would get into the symphony or if she would end up back at the hotel carrying trays. But she knew one thing for certain. She had to try. She had to show up for that audition. She had to chase her dream one more time, no matter how scary it was. Because now she knew something she had not known before. She was good enough. Her music mattered. She deserved to be seen and heard. Whatever happened next, she would face it with courage. Just like she had faced the piano tonight. Just like she had faced 400 people and played her heart out. Maya smiled through her tears and kept walking home. Catherine Wells's business card clutched tight in her hand, already thinking about what she would play for her audition on Monday. Maya did not sleep much that night. She lay in her small apartment, staring at the ceiling, replaying the evening over and over in her mind. Had it really happened? Had she really played for 400 people? Had they really given her a standing ovation? It felt like a dream, but the business cards on her nightstand proved it was real. Sunday morning arrived with bright sunshine streaming through her window. Maya got up slowly, her body sore from the tension of the night before. She made coffee and sat at her small kitchen table, spreading out all the business cards people had given her. There were at least 15 of them. Each one represented a possibility, a door that might open, but the most important one was Catherine Wells' card. City Symphony Orchestra, Monday at 10 o'clock. Less than 24 hours away. Maya's phone buzzed constantly. Text messages from Carmen, from other servers at the hotel, from old friends from the conservatory who had somehow heard about what happened. Everyone wanted to know details. Everyone wanted to congratulate her. Everyone wanted to know what would happen next. Her parents called mid-morning. Her mother was crying happy tears. Her father's voice was thick with emotion. "Mijija, we are so proud of you," he said in Spanish. "We always knew you were special. We always knew." "I don't know what will happen, Papa," Maya said softly. "It was just one night. I have an audition tomorrow, but I might not get in." "You will get in," her mother said firmly. "We believe in you. We always have." After she hung up, Maya realized something. Her parents had never stopped believing in her, even when she stopped believing in herself. They had supported her decision to drop out of school because they loved her and needed her help. But they had never stopped seeing her as a musician, never stopped hoping that someday she would play again. Maya spent the rest of Sunday doing something she had not done in 3 years. She practiced. Not seriously, not with real dedication, but just enough to remember what it felt like. She went to her parents' garage where her old keyboard was stored in a box. She brought it home, set it up, and played for hours. Her fingers were rusty at first. She made mistakes. But slowly the muscle memory returned. The pieces she had played at the gala came back easier. She worked on them, polishing them, making them better. If she was going to audition for the City Symphony Orchestra, she needed to be as prepared as possible. As evening approached, Patricia Vance called. "Maya, I hope I'm not bothering you." "I just wanted to check in. Have you thought about what you want?" Maya took a deep breath. "I want to audition tomorrow. I want to see if I'm good enough for the symphony. After that, I don't know. Everything is happening so fast." "That's completely understandable," Patricia said warmly. "Listen, I've been thinking. Regardless of what happens with the symphony, I organize about 20 charity galas a year. I would love to hire you to play at them. The pay is good, and it would give you regular performing opportunities while you figure out your next steps. Would you be interested?" "Yes," Maya said immediately. "Yes, very interested." "Wonderful. Let's talk more after your audition. Good luck tomorrow, Maya. You're going to do great." That night, Maya actually slept. She was nervous about the audition, but she was also calm. Something had changed inside her. She had faced her fear and survived. She had played in front of people who mattered, and they had loved it. Even if the audition did not go well, she had already proven something important to herself. Monday morning arrived clear and bright. Maya dressed carefully in the only professional outfit she owned. A simple black dress and low heels. She looked at herself in the mirror. She looked like a musician. She felt like a musician. For the first time in 3 years, she was not pretending. She was not hiding. This was really her. The City Symphony Orchestra offices were downtown in a beautiful old building. Maya arrived 15 minutes early, her hands clutching a folder with her limited resume, and the few professional recordings she had made as a student. It was not much, but it was all she had. The receptionist smiled at her warmly. "You must be Maya Rodriguez. Ms. Wells is expecting you. Please have a seat. She'll be with you shortly." Maya sat in the waiting area, trying not to be nervous. Other people came and went. Musicians, probably. People who belonged here. People who had not dropped out of school and spent 3 years serving food. "Stop it," Maya told herself firmly. "You deserve to be here. You earned this chance, Maya." Catherine Wells appeared in the doorway, looking elegant and professional. "Come on back." Maya followed her down a hallway lined with photos of past performances and famous musicians. They entered a large rehearsal room with a beautiful grand piano in the center. The room had excellent acoustics. Maya could tell just by the way sound moved in the space. "Thank you for coming," Catherine said, gesturing for Maya to sit at the piano. "I've been thinking about your performance on Saturday night. It was remarkable. Truly remarkable, but I need to understand your background better. Tell me about your training." Maya explained everything. The conservatory, her teachers, her studies, why she had to leave, the 3 years working at the hotel. She was honest about all of it, not hiding anything. Catherine listened carefully, nodding occasionally, her face thoughtful. "And you haven't been performing at all during these 3 years?" Catherine asked. "No," Maya admitted. "I played sometimes at home on my keyboard, but no real practicing, no performances, nothing formal." "Yet on Saturday night you played like someone who performs regularly," Catherine said. "That tells me something important about your natural talent and your dedication. Talent can sleep for a while, but it doesn't die. Not real talent." Maya felt her heart beating faster. Was this going well? She could not tell. "I'd like you to play for me now," Catherine said. "Play whatever you want. Something that shows me who you are as a musician." This was it. The moment that would determine everything. Maya sat at the piano and took a deep breath. What should she play? Something safe and classical? Something impressive and difficult? Something that showed off her technical skill? No, she would play the truth. She would play her heart. Maya began with the piece she had played at the gala, the one she wrote herself in her second year of conservatory, the one about dreams breaking and people surviving. But this time she played it differently. She added a new section at the end, a section about hope returning, about second chances, about courage. Her fingers moved across the keys with confidence. She played the sadness and the struggle, but also the joy and the possibility. She played about Saturday night, about standing in front of 400 people, about remembering who she was, about this moment right now sitting at this piano, fighting for her future. When she finished, silence filled the room. Maya looked at Catherine nervously. The older woman's face was unreadable. Had it been good, bad, not good enough? Then Catherine smiled, really smiled. You have a gift, Maya, a rare gift. You don't just play notes. You tell stories. You make people feel things. That's what great musicians do. That's what I need in my orchestra. You mean? Maya could not finish the sentence. I'm offering you a position, Catherine said clearly. Starting salary is $50,000 a year with benefits. You'll perform with the full orchestra at our regular concerts. You'll also have opportunities for solo performances. We have a piano concerto scheduled for March. I'd like you to be the featured soloist. Maya felt dizzy. $50,000 a year. That was more than she made at the hotel. With benefits. And a solo performance in March. This was more than she had dreamed possible. However, Catherine continued, there are conditions. You'll need to practice seriously. Every day. Multiple hours. You have natural talent, but you're rusty. You need to rebuild your technique. You need to expand your repertoire. Are you willing to do that work? Yes, Maya said immediately. Yes, absolutely. Good. You'll also need to work with our orchestra conductor, Marcus Chen. He's demanding but fair. He'll push you hard. Can you handle that? I can handle it, Maya said with certainty. She had handled 3 years of being invisible. She had handled her father's accident and her family's financial struggles. She could handle hard work and high expectations. Catherine extended her hand. Then welcome to the City Symphony Orchestra, Maya Rodriguez. Maya shook her hand, tears starting to stream down her face. She could not help it. 3 days ago, she was a waitress. Now she was a professional musician with a symphony orchestra. It was too much. Too wonderful. Too unbelievable. Thank you, Maya managed to say. Thank you so much. I won't let you down. I know you won't, Catherine said warmly. I saw something special in you on Saturday night. Not just talent, character. You've been through hard times and you've survived. That makes you strong. Musicians need to be strong. They spent the next hour going over details. Start date, rehearsal schedule, performance dates, expectations. By the time Maya left the building, her head was spinning with information and her heart was overflowing with joy. She walked outside into the sunshine and pulled out her phone. She had to tell someone. She called Carmen first. Her friend answered on the first ring. Well? Carmen demanded immediately. What happened? I got in, Maya said, her voice breaking with emotion. I'm going to play with the City Symphony Orchestra. Carmen screamed so loud that Maya had to hold the phone away from her ear. I knew it. Oh, Maya, I'm so happy for you. Next, she called her parents. Her mother answered, and when Maya told her the news, she heard her mother start crying happy tears. Her father took the phone. Mijija, he said, his voice full of pride. You did it. You really did it. Papa, Maya said softly. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm sorry I gave up my dreams to help the family. I'm sorry for all the lost time. No, her father said firmly. No apologies. You did what you needed to do. You helped us when we needed help. That took courage. Now it's time for you to follow your dream again. We are proud of you. So proud. Maya walked through the city, making phone calls, feeling like she was floating. She called Patricia Vance and told her the good news. Patricia was thrilled and immediately confirmed that Maya would play at 3 upcoming charity galas, paying $2,000 per event. She called Mr. Hartford at the hotel. I need to give my notice, she said. 2 weeks, if that's okay. There was a pause. Then Mr. Hartford said, I expected this. I'm happy for you, Maya. You deserve this opportunity. Take the time you need to transition. And remember, you always have friends at the Grand Meridian. 2 weeks later, Maya worked her last shift at the hotel. The staff threw her a small party in the break room. They had cake and champagne. Everyone hugged her and wished her well. Carmen cried, of course. So did Maya. I'm going to miss you so much, Carmen said, holding her tight. But I'm so proud of you. You're going to be famous someday. I'll tell everyone I knew you when you were just a waitress. I'll never forget where I came from, Maya promised. And I'll never forget you. You saved my life, Carmen. You made me tell them I could play. Without you, none of this would have happened. The first rehearsal with the symphony was terrifying. Maya walked into the practice hall where dozens of professional musicians were warming up. She felt out of place and underprepared. But then she sat at the piano and everything changed. The music connected her to everyone else. They were all musicians. They all spoke the same language. Marcus Chen, the conductor, was as demanding as Catherine had warned. He made Maya repeat sections over and over until they were perfect. He pushed her hard, never satisfied with good enough. But Maya welcomed the challenge. She practiced 4 hours a day, sometimes more. Her fingers hurt. Her back ached. But she was happy. Truly happy. 6 weeks after the gala, Maya performed her first concert with the City Symphony Orchestra. It was not a solo performance. She played as part of the ensemble. But she was there, on stage in a concert hall, playing the music she loved for people who appreciated it. Her parents sat in the audience, dressed in their best clothes. Carmen was there too, in the third row, beaming with pride. Even Mr. Hartford came, sitting stiffly in his suit but smiling. When the concert ended and the audience applauded, Maya felt complete. This was where she belonged. This was what she was meant to do. The months passed quickly. Maya practiced constantly, improving her technique, expanding her repertoire. She played at Patricia's charity galas, earning extra money and building her reputation. She gave private lessons to advanced students, passing on what she had learned. Her student loans got paid off faster now. She sent money home to her parents. She even saved a little for herself. For the first time in years, she was not struggling. She was not just surviving. She was thriving. March arrived, the concert where Maya would be the featured soloist. She would play a piano concerto with the full orchestra. This was the biggest moment of her career so far. She had practiced the piece until she could play it in her sleep. The night of the performance, Maya stood backstage in her concert dress, her heart pounding. She peeked out at the audience. The concert hall was full. Every seat taken. She saw her parents in their usual spot. Carmen was there with her family. Mr. Hartford sat in the balcony. Patricia Vance was in the front row. And there, in a box seat, sat the woman in the green dress who had bid $200,000 at the charity auction. She had come to hear Maya play. She had told everyone about the waitress who became a pianist. She had helped spread Maya's story throughout the city. Catherine Wells appeared at Maya's side. Nervous? Terrified, Maya admitted. Good, Catherine said with a smile. That means you care. Now go out there and show them what you can do. Maya walked onto the stage. The audience applauded as she sat at the piano. The orchestra was arranged behind her, waiting for the conductor's signal. Marcus Chen raised his baton, looked at Maya and nodded. Maya placed her hands on the keys and began to play. The music poured out of her, powerful and emotional. The orchestra joined in, supporting her, enhancing her playing. Together they created something beautiful. Something that made people close their eyes and feel. Something that made them remember why they loved music. Maya played with everything she had. Every note perfect. Every phrase meaningful. Every moment alive with passion. She played for her younger self who had dreamed of this. She played for her parents who had sacrificed for her. She played for Carmen who had believed in her. She played for everyone who had ever given up on their dreams and wondered if they made the right choice. She played to say that it was never too late. That dreams could come back. That courage could change everything. That one night at a gala could transform an entire life. When the final note rang out, filling the concert hall with its resonance, the audience sat in stunned silence for a heartbeat. Then they erupted. They stood. They cheered. They applauded until their hands hurt. Maya stood and bowed, tears streaming down her face. Marcus Chen was smiling, conducting the applause like it was part of the performance. The orchestra members were tapping their bows against their music stands, the musicians' version of applause. In the audience, her father was crying openly. Her mother held his hand, her own face wet with tears. Carmen was jumping up and down, cheering loudly. The woman in the green dress was on her feet, applauding with joy. Maya looked out at all of them, all these people who had helped her, who had believed in her, who had given her chances when she needed them most. She bowed again, deeper this time, honoring them all. That night changed everything. Music critics wrote glowing reviews. A recording studio contacted her about making an album. Concert halls asked her to perform as a guest soloist. Everything was happening, and it was all because of one night. One terrifying, wonderful night when a waitress sat at a piano and played her heart out. But Maya never forgot where she came from. She never forgot the struggle. She never forgot being invisible, serving food to people who did not see her. She visited the Grand Meridian Hotel regularly, having coffee with Carmen, chatting with the staff. She played at charity galas, donating her time to help others. She established a scholarship fund for music students who had to drop out due to financial hardship. She called it the Second Chance Scholarship, because everyone deserved a second chance. Everyone deserved to chase their dreams, even if they had to give them up for a while. Years later, when people asked Maya about her success, she always told them the same thing. I was a waitress who played piano at a gala. The room fell silent and everything changed. But the magic was not just in the playing. It was in having the courage to try. It was in believing that dreams don't die, they just sleep. And when the right moment comes, they wake up. She would smile then, remembering that night. Remembering the fear and the hope. Remembering the standing ovation and the business cards. Remembering Catherine Wells and Carmen and Mr. Hartford and all the people who had helped her become who she was meant to be. Maya Rodriguez was a pianist, a successful, respected, professional pianist. But she was also someone who had been invisible and found her way back to being seen. Someone who had lost everything and found it again. Someone who proved that one moment of courage could change an entire life. And that was the greatest performance of all.